What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is the Sound and Fury podcast. My name is Keenan, and today we're going to be talking about today's announcement. Dave Mustaine is announcing the end of Megadeth. So let's talk about that. What do you expect? Really, do you expect it to actually be the end, or is this one of those false flag operations where he says it's the end of Megadeth, and then 6 years from now, oh, we're coming back, I don't know. I don't have any reason to believe that Dave would do that kind of thing. He seems like a pretty, for the most part, he seems like a pretty, when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. When he kind of makes a commitment to something, he seems like a dude who generally commits to the things that he says at least on most of the important things. Like when something is important, Dave seems like he's the kind of guy that, like, okay, he's committed to this important thing. Yeah, everybody says, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then things don't happen, right? But when it comes down to it, generally speaking, when Dave has committed to an idea, it usually happens. So I don't think that we're going to see one of those things where, a couple of years down the line, he brings it back. I could be wrong, but I just don't think he's going to. I really like the artwork that they've announced for it or whatever. This white suit on Vic, and then he lights, gets lit on fire. The image, I'm sure you've seen it. I think that looks fucking badass. Looks really good. Now, artwork is separate from the music, but sometimes artwork can be a good indicator of, like, okay, this is actually going pretty. This looks like it's going to be badass, right? So we'll see how that goes. As far as the music, I'm a little bit apprehensive. I'm hopeful, but I'm apprehensive because the last 4 or 5 Megadeth albums, only one of them has been really, truly impressive, which is Dystopia. Super Collider 13 was pretty good. Super Collider, not good for me. I didn't like it. And then coming back with Dystopia was fucking awesome. And then The Sick, the Dying, the Dead, it was okay. I feel about The Sick, the Dying, the Dead kind of the same way that I feel about United Abominations. It's got some good songs, but as an overall album, it just doesn't seem to hit on all the cylinders. Like, it feels like there's a little bit of a lope or something to the way that it plays out throughout the whole. There's some, the first song's great, the last song's great, but for some reason, like towards the second half, like what you would call like the B side of the record, track 6, 7, 8, it just sounds fucking like whatever. None of these songs are really all that important. It feels like, oh, we're just putting these songs together. So I don't want to see something like that with the final Megadeth album. What I want to see with the final Megadeth is something special, something a little bigger, something a little more interesting in a lot of ways. And I will say, they've never done a double album, and it'd be kind of cool to see Megadeth do a double record. It'd be kind of cool to see him really pull out of the stops and put something together that tells a story, and almost, I wouldn't say concept album, but maybe borderline concept album. Like, this is what Megadeth really is about, and try to incorporate some of the things that have been lost for the last 20 years. I would say that everything that they've done since the system has failed, which I think is one of the best Megadeth albums, but everything that they've done since then has been a little bit formulaic. Like, every single album has like a couple of songs that don't really fucking matter, Again, I think besides Dystopia is fucking solid all the way through. Like that's an album that I can just put the album on and every single song fucking rips. I'm down with all of it. But I can't say the same about really. I would say Endgame is probably like that too. Actually, Endgame is fucking badass, dude. There are some songs that I can see why other people would be like, nah, whatever. But I like Endgame a lot. System Has Failed, Endgame, and Dystopia are the three Megadeth albums of this fucking millennium that I think are unfuckwithable. The other albums, they all have something about them that I think is cool, and something about them that I think is just fucking whatever, you know. United Abominations, don't give me the fucking bullshit version of Atulamon. Like, I like Christina Scabian. She's got a great voice. She's hot as fuck. But that song did not need to be re-recorded. Didn't. Um, then you look at like 13, and there's some cool fucking songs on there, but some of them are just like, all right, whatever, we're just getting through the album. Super Collider can lick the sweat off of the back of my ball sack. That album sucks. And then, like I said, Dystopia rules. And then, like I said, Sick Dying the Dead feels a lot like United Abominations. Like, there's some cool stuff here, but there's some stuff that I don't really give a fuck about either. I'm really hoping that the final Megadeth album isn't like that, where it's like, all right, there's some cool stuff here, but there's like 5 songs on here that I would never fucking willingly like go out of my way to put on. I'm hoping that when the final Megadeth album comes out, I'm like, I gotta listen to the whole goddamn thing every time. You put it on your play, you put it on your Spotify or whatever, and you hit shuffle on all your fucking music, and randomly one of the songs comes up, you're like, oh nope, I gotta go back to the beginning of the album and listen to everything, right? That's what I hope for. I'm not saying that I expect it, but that's what I would hope for. And I would hope, or I said, it'd be kind of cool if they did a double album. It'd be kind of cool if one of the records was really fucking intense, super fucking hateful, aggressive, vitriolic, venomous kind of old school Megadeth, like, you know, killing is my business. Like, I'm killing, you know, I'm out for blood kind of vibes, right? But the other side, or somehow incorporate ideas that you might have heard on Euthanasia or Cryptic Writings. That more melodic, maybe a little bit more mid-tempo, and not just like Megadeth. Like a little more like you know Euthanasia. It's a great fucking record. I love that record. At one point, Euthanasia was basically my favorite Megadeth album, but I kind of grew into a age of like, I don't really have to decide on one album being my favorite album. Usually, that shit changes anyway, because it might be Megadeth or it might be Euthanasia, but like 6 months down the line, I'm gonna be listening to fucking Peace Sells and just be like, oh yeah, I remember this one. Or I might be listening to System Has Failed and be like, this is such an underrated album, and I can't believe people don't listen to this and don't talk about it as much as they should. Even The World Needs a Hero. Like, sometimes that was the new album. When I got into Megadeth, that was the new Megadeth album. And I didn't give a fuck about Megadeth really at that point before, because their newest album was Risk, and I was like, okay, whatever, dude. But then System Has Failed came out, and I was like, this is actually kind of cool. I like this. And it made me get into the older stuff a little bit more. Like, I was only familiar with Countdown to Extinction, the singles and stuff, the hit songs, Symphony of Destruction, Sweating Bullets, that kind of thing. I was familiar with that, and then the new Megadeth at the time, The World Needs a Hero, came out, and I liked it. I was like, okay, Disconnect is cool. There were some other songs that I thought were pretty good. I remember listening to Promises and being like, okay, But I liked When, the last song on that album, is pretty fucking cool. Love Return to Hinger. I love Dread of the Fugitive Mind. So I like that album, and it'd be kind of cool to hear the last Megadeth record try to pull a lot of that shit together and give it to you in one big package. Like I said, a double record would probably be the way to go. I don't expect Dave to do one like that, but maybe it'd be kind of cool to see him pull out all the stops and really go full bore with it. As far as the tour, please, fuck, dude, can somebody convince that motherfucker to like change the set list a little bit? Something like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the Megadeth set list has been basically the exact same set of songs, save 2 or 3 different swap outs here and there. But like this, the ending 3 songs of every single Megadeth show is like always the same. It always starts the same. It's always fucking Holy Wars, and then it always ends with, Peace Sells, Symphony of Destruction, and Rust in Peace, Polaris. Like, it's always the same fucking. I might have that a little bit wrong. Don't hold me to account much to that little statement there as far as which songs in which order. But I'm just saying, if you look at the last 10, 15 years of Megadeth sets, they're all pretty much the same. Go check it, dude. Seriously, go look Megadeth Live 2015, go look Megadeth Live 2017, 2019, and you'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. Change the goddamn set list a bit. Pull some fucking, deep cuts out. Throw some weird shit in there, man. You never, if you're ending Megadeth, if you're never gonna go out and do these things again, let's see some fucking cool shit. You got a badass band of musicians, guys that can play any of it. James Lomenzo's a great bass player. Timu's a great guitar player. Dirk is a phenomenal fucking drummer. And Dave's Dave, you know what I mean? He's the man. He's the guy who wrote it all anyway. So, fucking make it happen, you know what I mean? Like, I love She-Wolf, don't get me wrong. It's a badass fucking song, and I get why he plays it all the time. But at the same time, you have to play it every fucking show. You know what I mean? Like, throw something else in there. This is one thing. I know it's always such a bitch to fucking talk about Megadeth and Metallica, but it's one thing that I do think Metallica is just so much better at, is they never really play the same set list twice. They're always throwing new shit into the set, and they'll play like a song one time on a tour. Like, they'll just, we're going to fucking Germany. We're going to play, we're going to play Dirty Window or whatever. And they play that song somewhat frequently, but it's not like every show, right? They do have their sets. They have their standards that they always play. We know that Metallica is always going to play Enter Sandman, and Megadeth is always going to play Symphony of Destruction. Like, it's part of the gig. These are your fucking songs. Alice in Chains will play Man in the Box every fucking time you go see them, right? You can't, it's like it's required to do so, right? But there's some other songs, it doesn't have to happen every single fucking time. It'd be nice to hear something different. So what I'm hoping for with the tour is go out there, just evening with Megadeth shit. No opening bands. Just go out there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I know it's a little bit of a hard thing for Dave because his voice struggles, and Megadeth's music is very, competitive, I guess. But if you have to take a little extra time between songs, do it. You know what I mean? If it's a 2.5 hour event and you got to take 2 or 3 minutes or whatever between every song just to kind of give your muscles time to relax or whatever, do what you got to do, man. But it'd be nice to hear some songs that don't get a lot of play, don't get a lot of recognition, aren't just on the fucking radio, and swap things out around a little bit. Play the same set list for a month, and then, change it up. Change to another, it'd be cool if you had, like, the A set list, the B set list, the C set list, right? And, yeah, there might be some commonalities, maybe open up with Symphony of Destruction sometime, just because it's like, all right, well, it's a big fucking song. We're going to play it anyway, so might as well just get it out of the way. I could totally see them walking her out and it just being dun 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 dun. Do that for like a minute. Just keep that fucking riff going for like a minute, getting the crowd warmed up to just that riff. Dun 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 dun. Throw a little drum fill in. Dun 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 dun. Throw some bass. Whatever, right? Then a little fucking guitar lick next time. You know, throw that little break in there like that. Then fucking let one fucking sit for a while, and everybody's just like, oh, dun 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 dun. You take a mortal man. You know, start the fucking crowd off like that. I think it'd be a great way of doing it. Just do something different is all I'm asking. Don't come out there and do the exact same set list that you've been doing for 20 fucking years, you know? So that's my hope for it. Double album, a little more expansive on the sound, an interesting and more inclusive sort of set list. Like I said, it'd be kind of cool to just see Megadeth without any other fucking bands. If you're gonna close out your career, close it out. You do your thing, and fuck it. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it. All I got for today. Thanks for watching. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Again, this is Keenan, Sound of Fury Podcast. Share it with your friends, subscribe, all that shit. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.